Hey friends, welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be talking about how to avoid the lifestyle creep. So now what even is the lifestyle creep? So the lifestyle creep is basically when you start spending more because you start earning more and you start spending money on things that you before thought were luxuries. So that on its own doesn't sound like a necessarily bad thing. So why would you want to avoid the lifestyle creep? So avoiding the lifestyle creep is something for people who want to be saving as much money as possible, possibly investing it to maybe someday soon retire a little earlier, not want to work your whole life for money to spend. And the lifestyle creep actually sets in really slowly and sneakily, which is why it's called the lifestyle creep. I've personally experienced it myself, where I start spending money on things that I thought were not really necessary, more of luxuries, nice to haves, but definitely not necessary. And I found myself slowly but surely spending a little more, and that's totally fine if you would like that kind of lifestyle, but I personally would like to save as much money as possible, invest that money to hopefully retire as early as possible. So I gathered a few areas of your life where you want to watch out and just tips on how to avoid the lifestyle creep, because it does sneak up on you very, very easily. So the first area to watch out is to really think about who is actually influencing you. So who are you surrounding yourself with? What is their lifestyle? What is their philosophy? And are they maybe influencing you in subtle ways? Now, I personally would say that as long as you're spending time with that person, they are inevitably influencing you in some way. And if their way of life is not something that you would like to have or that you agree with, then maybe spending less time with them is the necessary next step. Are maybe friends pressuring you to go out every weekend or to go to expensive restaurants? Are you feeling that peer pressure to spend more money than you would if it were up to you? Also, don't only think about people in your real life, but also think about movies and series that you're watching, people you follow online, whether it's on YouTube, on Instagram, or wherever. How or what is their lifestyle? Because they will also influence you. It's not without reason that often these types of people are called influencers, because they do influence your opinion and what you think, and a result of that, what your actions are. So is their way of life, their philosophy, something that you aspire to have or to be like? If yes, then keep on following them. If no, then maybe detoxify your circle of acquaintances. Now let's talk about specific areas to watch spending. So I would say the most important area to watch your spending is your rent or your housing costs. This is the area where most people spend most of their money. We often have this idea in our head that when we're at a certain age, maybe 30, maybe 25, our life should look like this. And it often involves having this sort of house or this sort of apartment in this sort of style, in this sort of neighborhood with this sort of amenities. And there's this idea in our head that has often been put in place by societal standards or maybe even peer pressure. So if all my friends are living in a really nice apartment, living on their own, maybe I should be doing the same so that I don't feel left out, or I don't feel behind, or I don't feel embarrassed. We don't want to be the only one living out of a crappy apartment or living at our parents' house or whatever it may be. But we really need to remind ourselves what is important to me, or what are my values, what do I want to achieve in life. And if it's maybe just more important to you to have to work as little as possible, to have extra time for your hobbies, and as a consequence of that, not live in such a fancy apartment, then don't listen to other people's expectations. Now, the second area to watch out your spending is eating out. Eating out is often deemed as kind of like a luxury. You want to be spending this amazing time eating out, eating this fancy, delicious food, and we want to be posting this on Instagram for people to see how fancy or luxury our life is. It's become more of like a status symbol. Now, eating out in general is totally fine, but keep in mind your overall goal. If you're starting to eat out more and more and maybe at pricier restaurants, then maybe this is a sign that the lifestyle creep is setting in. So what is important to you? Is that instant gratification of a nice restaurant important to you, or saving money important for you? One isn't better than the other necessarily, but you have to know what you want. The third area people tend to spend quite a lot of money is vacations. Now, when you start earning more money, you start wanting to have maybe fancier vacations and stay at more luxury hotels. I would definitely say the media plays a role in this. We see influencers online going on fancy vacations and doing all these amazing things, and often we ourselves want to post the best life. We want to put our best foot forward, and it leads us wanting to emulate the others or even top the vacations of others, and we start subconsciously desiring a more luxurious vacation. We want those amazing pictures, we want that Instagrammable vacation. But maybe if you prioritize the experience of the vacation or the adventure of the vacation, then spending more money isn't going to necessarily always give you more adventure or better experiences. A lot of times, at least for me, budget vacations are the ones that are more adventurous or more exciting. And maybe there are going to be a few uncomfortable situations, a few mishaps, but those are the ones where you will have the story to tell that will stay in your mind longer. You're not going to remember a super fancy hotel as something that is so worth telling, or it's not going to be the thing that you're going to remember down the road. It might be nice now to think, hey, but I'm working so hard, I deserve that fancy vacation. And I'm not saying that you don't deserve that fancy vacation, you definitely do, but think about it very, very consciously. If saving more money and having financial freedom is important to you, then watching out for the lifestyle creep will probably also be important to you. Now, yes, it might be really nice to have that really fancy vacation now, but delaying that gratification is going to be so much more worth it when you have less hours and days and weeks where you have to work because you put away the money, invested into the freedom of your future. If you really think about it, you're trading your time for money. So all that extra money that you're spending in unnecessary places, you're making up with having to work more. Before we go on, I want to tell you guys about my book club. So I have a book club where we read one book a month, alternating fiction and nonfiction, and we have cool discussion groups at the end of the month and worksheets, and it's always so much fun with you guys. So be sure to join and check out the book club. The link is down below. The next area the lifestyle creep easily sets in is groceries. At least for me, this is a very tricky area. So I personally found myself slowly starting to shop for those more luxury, more expensive items more and more often. I started grabbing that soy coconut yogurt that is pretty overly expensive more often, or shopping for those fancy but mostly unnecessary vegan options, and I found myself doing it more and more and found that I was spending more and more money and unnecessarily. You might think it's just a few dollars here and there, that's totally fine, but the dangerous thing is the lifestyle creep sets in or sneakily and slowly. So once you start inviting in those extra few spends here and there, then you're kind of inviting in that lifestyle creep, and it can be really difficult or dangerous to catch yourself and to stop yourself. So again, think about what's important. I'm not saying that it's bad in general to increase your spending on groceries if you are earning more, but you have to do so very, very consciously. If you consciously want to spend more on groceries because you buy organic food instead, because you want to watch out for your health or the environment, then do so very intentionally. Don't accidentally slip up on spending more. The next area is clothes. Like our home, our clothes is something that we present ourselves in. It's something where we express ourselves in. Our clothes basically often represent how we feel inside, or what we feel like our personality is like, or who we want to be and want to match up to our peers. We don't want to be walking around in not so nice clothes if all our peers are walking around with fancy clothes. In my opinion, it's more of the way you carry yourself. What kind of energy are you emitting, or how confident you are. It's not about the clothes, but how you carry yourself in them. The next area we tend to splurge on when the lifestyle creep sets in is on services. Under services, I count things like getting your nails done, getting your hair done, or even getting a cleaning service, or maybe a lawn mowing service, getting your car washed, all these types of services that you thought were more luxuries before and that you did yourself before. Again, it's more of the desire to want to feel more expensive. It's kind of like a luxury statement. It's a luxury experience of getting someone to do a service for you. It's definitely not something for people who don't earn a lot. And again, I'm not saying it's bad in general to incorporate more services into your life if you're really earning more money, but do so very intentionally. So again, think about what are your values, what are your goals, what do you want to achieve, and maybe you really hate doing your own nails, or you don't know how to, or you hate cleaning, or you're just really bad at cutting your own hair. It's totally fine to incorporate a few things into your routine, but again, do so very intentionally and think about what you're kind of trading off. You're trading off your time, and you have to think about what is more valuable to you. And if it's worth it to you, then by all means, it's totally fine. Just do the transition or the trade-off very thoughtfully and with intention. It's always really easy to inflate your lifestyle. You get used to the new standard of luxury very, very quickly. But on the other hand, once you're used to that new standard of life, it's hard to go back, downgrade. Be very careful and wary of that. And I mean, sure, some would say, but we only have one life, so why not enjoy it and do all the things you want to do and buy all the things you want to buy. But on the other hand, others might say, yes, we only have one life, and I don't want to spend that life working to earn more money, to buy all these short-term gratifications. I would rather delay my gratification and not buy all these luxuries that I don't feel like I need, and as a result work a little less and have more free time, maybe for my family, for my friends, for my hobbies. This is definitely something that a lot of people are slowly realizing and wanting to pursue, and it's even called FIRE, so financial independence, retire early, and I even did a whole video on that. So if you're interested on what that's all about and how to retire early to be financially free, then I'll leave the link here or down below. So really think about it. The lifestyle creep is not necessarily something bad if you choose to go with it, but for a lot of people, maybe it's not something that they would like, or at least it's not something that they very intentionally choose to do. So think about maybe what you want your life to look like, what you, not only in the immediate future, but in the later future. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I now upload twice weekly again, which I'm so excited for. So subscribe to see more and to stick around, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.